All right, going over the chance. Going over the lesson 8 turn-in homework. Sorry, my dog was a little growly. Uh, lesson 8 turn-in homework. So this is going to be just this document. I'm going to open up the PDF right here. It's all confidence intervals. So one thing to note, important instructions, show your work, show the pieces of the formula. I know that there are resources that will just give you the confidence interval itself. I want to see your understanding, and then it also lets me check for errors if there's, right, if you use the wrong t-score or z-score, for example, I can see the rest of the work and then potentially look for the errors. So with your answers, round your percentages and proportions to 4 decimal places, and then the values of your confidence intervals to 2 decimal places. So you're constructing some like 90% confidence interval, go to 2 decimal places here. Probabilities and proportions go to 4 decimal places. Don't forget units if you're, for example, on your confidence intervals when it's not a probability, and then use complete sentences when you're interpreting your confidence intervals. First question, here's a confidence interval. Can you find the mean and margin of error? Next question, minimum sample size we should collect. So our confidence interval will be under 4 beats per minute. Formulas for that. And then here is another confidence interval sample statistic. Justify the central limit theorem criteria, these conditions. It'll be the sample size, random sample, and or number of trials, number of failures. Those are the criteria depending on which confidence interval you're constructing. The pieces of your confidence interval, write it as the actual interval and interpret. Same thing in this question, conditions for the central limit theorem, degrees of freedom, confidence interval, write out all the pieces, and then you don't need to write it in an interval, just interpret. Right? So you have all the pieces here, and then you'll interpret, and that's how I'll see the values of your confidence interval is in your interpretation. And then finally, a confidence interval dealing with proportion sample statistics, p-hat, once again, normality conditions. And then there's an extra credit question. This one is a little bit tricky. So if you don't want to put the effort in, don't worry about it, but you should be able to rounding get an approximate answer for p-hat. Or sorry, you can figure out what p-hat is and use that in the formula to solve for n. All right, good luck. Have fun.